Okay. A
Yeah, a
little
little
brittle.
brittle, yeah,
Well,
it's a little brittle, It's what happens. You get a little brittle, you don't I don't know, sometimes I feel like maybe as you're on stage, there might be a lady in the corner of your eye and she doesn't quite laugh where you want her to, and you get a little brittle. And that's the same way here now. You're getting a little this bit's going nowhere, and you're not even buying into it. So I'm just gonna stop fucking with you. Anyway, the point is, Jimmy,
I'm
what are
looking.
you?
I'm looking for this article.
Yeah, I know he's not paying a damn bit of attention to me. For
There it is.
anybody who's coming into this, so Jimmy doesn't pay attention when he Googles. So I can more or less just riff on him, and he's gonna have no comebacks at all because he can pay attention to one thing at a time. He's trying to figure out how much did the what year was that original Cinderella?
Um, Let me get the article first, and then I'll go look.
Oh, because what a goofy comment. Yeah, no
Uh,
shit, it made more than Cinderella. What are you talking about? The average.
well, no, I still think the craziest part of that article is if I can find it is fuck I'm not finding it. No, it's not even that it made more money than it. It's just for the fact that they said without regarding inflation. Why the fuck would you put that in there? Without regarding inflation? You have to. This is the theater like you're in the entertainment
Right.
business. You have
I
to
right.
regard
And
inflation.
as we'll find out tonight with Stuttering John as we get into this doozy of a podcast. We'll find out that yes, inflation does matter, especially when you're making up lies and telling stories on the fly. Um, but just for a little idea,
Okay.
okay. The 1950 original Cinderella, um, it had a budget of $2.2 million, and it grossed $182 million in box office. So I want someone to inflate those numbers and then compare them to the amount of money that Rachel Ziegler lost on this movie by running her fucking trap every chance she got.
Running a trap, you could
Inflation.
yeah, I and yet again, I said even if it was the case that this that it did make more, let's say that it did make more money, which it clearly didn't. It lost money. The original Cinderella did not. And even when you regard
Right.
for inflation, movies were cheaper to make back then. That budget alone should tell you that
Oh
they were
yeah.
cheaper to make.
Oh,
So,
100%. That's the thing is that it cost $2 million, and that's considering a lot. But also Walt Disney took a big leap on this movie,
mhm.
and there's an entire history behind the
Oh
Cinderella
yeah.
movie as well as the Mary Poppins movie, and et cetera, so on.
Yeah,
So
what I for those who don't know, he like I think he put like when it came to the Cinderella movie, he put his house on the line for this shit. Like
yeah, I mean it was a big
like
thing. So
it was a huge gamble. This wasn't some like tee hee hee like no, this was serious. Like he went against the advice of his wife and a bunch of other people. This was like a serious thing, but it
right, that I think, yeah, and what I think you're trying to explain here is that this movie is one of the most iconic animated movies ever. And it's because there was a vision for it and it was sought through. I do believe there was a vision for this remake of Snow White. I do believe that
mm,
it was there in the beginning. But to be honest, I mean, even before the CGI dwarfs that we got, do you remember when we were going to get those 8 castaways of
oh,
society?
yeah, well before that and then Peter Dinklage, the guy who his entire career has been a dwarf suddenly it's just like no, you can't cast dwarves in this film. Like that's offensive and everything. Meanwhile, like for the entirety of Game of Thrones. He was a fucking
Right. And the
he
thing of
like
it is that, like, now he'll be hired as, oh, he's the lawyer in a film who just happens to be a midget, or my bad, happens to be a little person. But
oh fuck
again,
it,
you're
call
right.
him a
He
midget.
made
What's he
his
gonna do?
money. What?
Fuck it, call him a midget. The fuck's
He
he
made
gonna
his
do?
money being an elf. He made his money being a dwarf. He made his money being mythical creatures.
He took it, yeah,
And
he took advantage of his dwarfism, and now you're saying that a movie with the seven dwarves can it's just
yeah,
insane,
not
man.
only because not only did he make his money being a dwarf, but he's also made a lot of money. And I'm sure there are plenty of little people actors who could have benefited from being one of these dwarves. But I don't even think that was going to save this movie, though, Jim.
No,
I just don't think that it was. And
even
also
before
because too, I have a philosophy, or maybe I shouldn't say a philosophy. I have sort of I have a perspective. Just a little hunch. Most people that are going to the movies, most people who are taking their children to the movie theaters these days, are probably Midwest conservative people. I don't know in any other metric where there are a larger share of children, okay, where you have these Mormon families, these Catholic families of fucking 4 or 5 kids apiece, and they're all hopping into the truck to see a movie. Okay, I can think of someone right now who who's that. I can think of multiple people actually who if they're going to take their child to see something, they don't get to the movies very often. So when they do, it's a big deal. And if they feel like they're going to be shortchanged, they feel like it's stupid, they're not going to even bother. They're not going to waste their time.
I
And when
agree.
you have Rachel Ziegler, who is more or less going out of her way to tell young girls to not be interested in a romance. Which, by the way, is Rachel Ziegler in a relationship publicly? Doesn't she have a boyfriend
I
or
don't
something?
know. I never looked into it, but to kind of I guess this is a point of my own, but by the point of Snow White, so many people were turned off by the live action Disney films because pretty much all of them took what made the originals good and quite literally tried adapting it to the modern day. And they're all pretty much shit. Even the least offensive ones are pretty fucking bad, you know? So I'm not surprised that this is it's poetic that the Disney movie that started it all is the one that that animated film is the one that started it all, has the worst live action rendition.
Yeah, and it's just, to me it's very telling. Rachel Ziegler is in another project that apparently did not do very well,
Yeah,
or is not.
she's like lost projects. She lost like this was a career bomb. Like everything. This was like the
Oh,
perfect storm.
1000%.
If you're an upcoming actor and actress and you want to look at the things not to do, look at the whole like story building up to this movie. Look at all of Rachel Zegler's fucking press and all of this, and you'll know what not to do.
Well, I can tell you, if you want the 411 on what to do, on how to be a big celebrity and have lots of stories to tell, look no further than our friend Stuttering John Melendez.
Oh fuck.
So, Stuttering John, I was telling Jim earlier, he's back. We know the rumors to be true. Well, I don't know if they're true or not. They're speculative, but there's enough evidence to back them up. His mom does not want him in the Dabbleverse at all. She does not want him. He's on Facebook. I do follow John on Facebook, and the stuff that John posts on Facebook is not Dabbleverse stuff. It's anti-Trump and all kinds of wild other things.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure that Mama Melendez has made it very clear that if he is going to live in her house down in Florida, that John better be on his best behavior and he best not be streaming and trolling with people and scamming people and doing all the shit that he used to be up to. So now he's on a stand-up tour. Like that's going to make him any money. And he claims to be booking all of these clubs, okay? He claims to be booking clubs in New Jersey, in Connecticut, in Kentucky, in Ohio, Indiana. He's going to be on a tear this summer, Jimmy, in every small town in America. So Stuttering John begins.
Yes.
He was on Long Island, back home in his home turf. And this guy named Nick Greystone, who used to be on the radio out there, he now hosts a podcast in the side room of governors.
Yes.
This is the show. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and get this going here. And remember, this is the guy. Well, wait till you see John. This is the guy who is going to be coming to a club near you this summer. Does this look like a man who is hitting the road?
Oh, God. He's either going to be hitting the morgue or retirement home. Jesus
This is the guy. First of all, when did Stuttering John begin to look like Dave Meltzer?
Holy shit. God. He looks fucking I know we rip on me for my looks sometimes, but Jesus Christ, he's like, holy fuck, yeah.
Oh man. So here he is, and remember, this is a guy, and I'm not in the best shape either. I have bad eating habits and things, but John claims to be in the gym every single day. This is a guy who is hitting the gym every single day, Jimmy, and look at the posture of John. Look at the belly, look at the titties, and then look at the big horseshoe arms.
I've seen the amount I've seen that man drink. I know you're not hitting the gym. Fuck, dude.
I mean, just look at the shoestring arms, and he's so lengthy now. I've never realized how long John's arms are.
Jesus.
He's an anyway. Let's just get ahead. He tells some whoppers, so let's get started.
Steve Grillo, and who bummed the ride, of course, and we listened to a lot of Priest and Motley Crue. It was great music on the way home. We had great conversation, and I drank all my beers.
It was awesome. And in about an hour and a half into it, John looks at me and he goes, "Nick, I got to ask you a personal question. What's with the 666 on the side of your neck? You into the devil, bro?" And I would think that maybe 2 hours before that, he could have asked me that question, accepting a ride into hell, but we made it.
No. I didn't notice it at first. And then because I have a friend in Florida who also has it. And he's like, I just thought it would be cool. And I'm like, I don't know. The Exorcist and the Omen scared can I curse on this?
Please.
Oh, the Exorcist and the Omen scared the fuck out of me. And I'm saying that'd be the last thing I want on my fucking.
Okay. So John does this other thing, by the way, Jimmy. I've been psychoanalyzing this fucking guy way too deeply. Do you notice what John does when he loses someone's attention?
What does he do?
You notice, fucking blah. Like immediately he has to start dropping the F-bomb because he thinks that the word fuck is funny.
Yeah.
We're not going to get to it. I don't know if I'll find it or not, but he had his band was called the Stiff Deacons or the Stiff some shit. And the tagline of their band was, "If it ain't stiff, it ain't worth a fuck." That's the comedic prowess of one Stuttering John. But let's get back to it. Let's hear it in his words.
What's next? An upside down cross?
I have that too.
Yeah.
Oh, I would love because they're both big liberals, Stuttering John and Tom Myers. They may actually get along. That crossover could certainly be something.
So no, I don't know. But then again, I was brought up Catholic, and I went to my communion, and then I went to my confirmation. You know what I'm very happy about, because my niece's son, so I guess that's my second nephew. I don't know how it works. Anyway, he's getting communion.
Wait, his niece's son. My second nephew.
You fucking moron. Jesus.
So, holy fuck, my second nephew. So you're okay. So let's try to put this together. So your niece. So
Yes.
So obviously John's children are all adults. All of John's siblings' children are adults. So
Yes.
one of the children in the family are having is going through his Holy Communion. So he's trying to explain that like this 9-year-old kid, and he can't figure out what he is. Oh, he's like my second nephew once removed.
That's like saying that's like not knowing what a grandparent is.
Right. It's
Like if you're a grandparent and you're like, well, I'm related to my son's son. So I'm like the father. Yeah, you fucking moron. You're the great uncle, you douche. Oh my god.
Right. He's like my second nephew. He's just
You really said that.
I want to know how many nephews removed from how many nephews removed can they marry each other? How many just John. Oh God.
He's in second grade. And they finally did the right thing. They're doing, instead of that goddamn fakakta wafer they would give us that I gagged on every single time.
Right.
Now they give them graham crackers.
They do?
First of all, no, they don't. No, they don't. Okay. Look, as the Catholic in the room here, no, the fuck they don't, John. And also, I'm trying to not judge because, judge or
Fuck it, I'll judge. I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
I think you went to the wrong place. They just didn't give you graham crackers.
Do not judge, or you too shall give me a super chat. Honestly, but you know what? It's true though. John did pull that out. He did pull out Matthew 7. Do not judge, or you too will be judged. He tried to use that recently because what John does, by the way, now he claims he's an atheist, but when it's convenient, he's Catholic. When it's convenient, he's a Jew. When it's convenient, he's a liberal atheist. He does these things because he's of no substance at all. So
he's a cultural. So he's a cultural religious person and whatnot. It's just you're religious when it's convenient for you, and then you're atheist when it's convenient for you. Fuck
right,
that, man.
Because he just goes on and on and on. And also, no, it's not a graham cracker. I don't know what John's talking about. I don't know what denomination of Christianity that is. But this, that nasty wafer that I choked on every time. I take communion every week. I accept communion every Sunday. Every Sunday, the priest puts it in my hand, and somehow I put it in my mouth, and it dissolves on your tongue. You don't even have to chew it, really. I don't know what the fuck he's talking about, dude. Like, it's so enraging. When John talks about religion, he knows how to piss everybody off. When John talks about any level of politics, he pisses everybody off. Yet he thinks he's a pundit and like this cultural observer.
I remember when he was going to run for, I think it was Senate.
Yeah.
I fucking remember that.
Oh yeah. If I win, I'm gonna take all of your sexual assault charges away. Anyway, we're gonna go through here. I could give a shit less about this story.
Yeah,
we're gonna pop to about the 10-minute mark and see what Stud Joe's up to.
He goes, I want to tell you something.
Oh yeah. By the way, so
the most professional thing I've ever seen.
He just flies through these stories. So this guy does not talk at all.
Oh,
this gentleman here, Nick Greystone,
Yeah.
John goes from talking about probably being half toasted during his grandnephew's communion. But then he goes right into the battle of the bands and how badass his band was and how like he was a legend in high school. This man is 60, Jimmy.
Jesus.
He's 60 years old. Now here's my thing. Do you sit around all day and think about like like your grandest moments in high school, or you just kind of try to have a life for yourself in the present day and get something going now?
Well, I live in the moment. I don't mind reminiscing on the old days, but I feel like for John in his case, well, he doesn't have anything else to talk about. Look at him.
There is no present, right?
Like for me, I can talk about other things because I have the liberty to do so. Without tooting my own horn, I'm a rather interesting specimen to talk to. John is a rather interesting specimen to just observe more than talk to.
And the problem is, John lived so much in the past, yet he was married for 15 years.
Yes.
You don't hear many positive stories about Susanna.
Nope.
In that 15 years, he fathered 3 children. Rarely do you hear him speak about any positive memories of when the kids were young. So John lives in a selective chunk of the past.
And the only time he actually talked about one of his kids is when one of them transitioned. But that goes to the point you mentioned about the whole political, social, posturing.
Well, and also too, John, we listened to the stand-up comedy of how his wife was 9 months pregnant and he's having her do the dishes at the New Year's Eve party. Like there should even have been a party. She was, she was about to burst. But anyway, the point that I was trying to make is John lives in the past when it's like this self-masturbatory version of what he claims his life was and what he thinks the rest of the world should see as like his biggest victories in life and what makes him this legend in his own mind. But when it really comes down to, was he at home every night with his kids? Was he sitting at the dinner table and talking to them about their day? Evidently not, because he never stops talking about himself.
Yeah, that's why I say that he does that because he's probably wise enough, and this is me being charitable, he's probably wise enough to realize that the antics of his 50s and the beginning of his 60s haven't been really anything to write home about. You've been the punching bag of the internet and just various fucking podcasts. I mean,
right. Anyway,
hey, you know what? I mean, and it all pays off because now I get 2 pensions. I don't have to do shit anymore.
That's fucking awesome.
Oh yeah, but talking about how he got a pension from SAG, how he got a pension from the public school system, which I still call horsepucky. And he's saying how he's living large now. He doesn't have to make any money because he's just living off his double pensions.
Bullshit.
Yeah, you heard that right, Jimmy.
Yeah, I heard it, and it's bullshit. You're living large
because I love making people.
Chunk of time you were living with your mother in Florida. Fuck off, please.
He still is. He lives in his mother's house. He doesn't pay the mortgage.
Yeah.
So you went to school to NYU for film school.
Yes.
So what made you want to go to film school? Like, what was it, like movies back in the day, or was it something you wanted to do, like screenplays and stuff?
Well, so funny. I figured. Well, I had the band. I was in Battle of the Bands. What's your producer's name?
Tony.
Hey, Tony. I'll figure Tony from Long Island. You must be the only one. But
oh bad, yeah. I didn't even introduce you. This is Mr. Tony Walker.
Hey, Tony.
That guy is fucking humongous. I mean, I know that's not right to say. This guy seems like a nice guy, but he's just good grief. Well,
so based on what John is about to say, is he really saying, it sounds like his reasoning for going to film school started from the band that he was in for a Battle of the Bands.
Yes, and then he decided to go to film school, but listen to why he decided to go to film school.
Okay.
This makes no sense.
Teacher. I passed the CBEST to become a school teacher. I mean,
Yeah, I didn't even
Hold
introduce you. This is Mr. Tony. It's unheard of.
it's unheard of. And the other band was
What happened?
also. So now we're going to do the Battle of the Bands. So they want to pay each band $400. I said, fuck that. I write this letter. I type it on my own. Then we had typewriters.
They want to pay each band $400. This was in 1979. Do you realize how much $400 was? There's no fucking way that the school system there in Massapequa was set to pay $400 per band.
I guess it depends on how many bands they had. I mean, even if it's, let's say that part is true. I mean, did you? Oh, don't tell me because he did good at Battle of the Bands. He thought he would be famous, so he would just went to.
Jimmy, don't get ahead of yourself, pal.
In those days, I typed the letter and I give it to our principal, Dr. Manley. Believe it or not, that was his name. And I give him this. So I'm in homeroom, and then I get and then the homeroom teacher goes,
Remember when he said that he learned from his high school teacher, Mr. Morris, that you yawn because there's carbon dioxide in your lungs and you have to expel it? And that was completely wrong. You remember that shit?
Yeah, I fucking remember.
So John, with these names of these teachers, who knows if it's all bullshit or not?
Somebody comes with a pass. Mr. Melendez, Dr. Manley wants to see you in his office. I'm like, shit. So there I am, sitting across from Dr. Manley. He goes, John. I go, yes. He goes,
stuttering schmuck.
I want to tell you something. What you did is the most professional thing I've ever seen somebody do.
Fuck off.
And
no, I don't believe
not only
that.
am I going to give you a gold seal on your diploma with distinctive effort, but I am also going to get you will make half of the door for each show.
Wait.
You what?
Yeah, he's gonna make, dude. You know for a fact this was a battle of the bands at a high school. There was no cover charge. The fucking kids went in for free. What the fuck is he talking about?
Dude,
you know what you cost in high school? What does it cost? Like $5 to go to a football game?
Yeah.
You think they even charged for this?
Dude, that's like if I wrote a standard grade. Okay, I wrote an essay in like the 11th grade on why Optimus Prime is like a decent freedom fighter, and the principal pulls me in and they're like, your essay was so good. We
sent it over the top, Jimmy.
We PSA graded it and we sent it to the UN, and they want to send you to it. That's what it sounds like.
You're gonna go and read this essay in front of the United Nations,
and then we're gonna give you the keys to a luxurious house. It's fan fiction. This sounds like
completely. This is so ridiculous. Yeah,
but we did 2 that year.
A gold star diploma and half the gate. Do you notice how every story just involves him getting his ass kissed in some way or another? Like, it's never anything that he was bad at. It's never anything that he's learning as like a life lesson. It's just how wonderful he's always been.
Jeez, John, I'm impressed the guy didn't ask you to fuck his wife either. My God.
This guy hasn't asked John anything. John just keeps talking.
No, not the guy. I mean the principal and John's
story. Yeah, of course. Yeah, he's like, well, John, with that golden rod of yours, you should suitor my next son.
And he allowed me to cut out of classes to go to each class to promote it.
Wow.
Each band walked out with like 2 G's each time.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. I was willing
First
to
of
defend
all-
400.
First of all,
400 was more defendable. Now you're telling me
John
$2,000.
is saying that the principal of the school allowed him to not only cut his class, so leave whatever instruction he was a part of, but then walk into every other class while the teachers are talking and the kids are they're trying to like take quizzes and shit, and he just storms in and hands out a band flyer. It would never happen. What is he talking about?
I'm talking about the fact that he got paid $2,000 to do that.
Oh,
I don't
even
believe it.
For that, Jimmy, he's not interrupting classes. Well, it's not happening.
I know. I'm just
When you
saying
were in
that.
high school, when you were in school, and the teacher is standing in front of the chalkboard, and they are trying to hold a class, and some random kid walks up to the door, they never respond positively. But I guess for Stuttering John, that the whole school loved him, right? So they all just paused what they were doing to be graced by his presence.
Yeah, the teachers bowed. They would run and get the red carpet. They knew who they were dealing with.
Okay, they put rings on his fingers and bells on his feet. This John.
Say, my stuttering Lord, you have graced us with your presence today.
My band and the other band. Imagine that. 2 G's.
2 G's. Okay, so by the way, 2 G's. Just to give you an idea, okay, $500 is $1,600 today. I saw that the other day in the USA Today, a publication. So take $2,000 in 1979 and realize they were getting over $4,300 in today's money. There is absolutely no way this band, if they got $20 a piece, they probably got a lot.
Yeah, like I said, I could to a degree defend 400, even if it's ridiculous. I could defend it to a degree, but $2,000, I'm sorry.
400 to your favorite charity, maybe. Not to you.
No, I just mean like me being charitable to his story that I already know is nonsense. 400 bucks.
100%.
Like I was being charitable in that regard. Then he bumps it to $2,000, and it's like, I'm sorry, your story was already nonsense. I can't do this.
Oh, there's so much more, Jim. So I want to keep this
unheard of.
It's unheard of. And the other band was obviously grateful. Dr. Manley loved me. I was like forget it. I was like the
Dr. M, baby.
I was the principal's pet.
Yeah, man.
But that's
a great story for usually it's fixed stories about principals and stuff.
This guy loved me. I could do no wrong.
See, that's the thing, okay? I could do no wrong. I was the principal's pet. I could do no wrong. I was Howard's pet. I could do no wrong. I was Jay Leno's boy. And every single time, the exact opposite was true.
Artie Lang was my boy.
Right, exactly. Yeah, Artie couldn't fucking stand John.
No, fuck no.
So anyway, he just keeps on fucking going and going and going. But hold on.
He saw something in you.
Yeah,
I've never heard that version of the story before. I've never heard this version where the principal says, "Here's the keys to the city, John."
Yeah, that's why I made the comment of, I'm impressed this principal didn't say, "John, why don't you come fuck my wife?" Like, holy shit, man.
Yeah, he did. He said this guy is a guy that is always going to work. Like the guy knows what he's doing.
Yeah, that's great, man. That's fucking cool.
Yeah, and it's kind of been my mantra my whole life.
What was the name of the band back then?
Stiff Minister.
Stiff Minister. That's and it was
fucking awesome.
And our lead singer was this guy John Carroll, so he was like a graphic artist.
We're gonna pause.
We had T-shirts and
so obviously Stiff Minister. It's supposed to be a pedophile pastor joke.
Yeah,
it just
shocking.
Yeah.
A lot of the kids in school would walk around with Stiff Minister T-shirts.
Awesome.
They would write it on desks, our emblem, all over the doors. Stiff Minister. We had this whole like all the chicks loved us.
Okay.
Oh my god.
The fucking all the chicks were drawing the Stiff Minister logo on textbooks and things.
Oh my god, this is glad you showed me this.
You
this
know
is amazing.
What chicks are obsessed with bands in high school? The chick that's dating the drummer of the band. She's like the band's biggest fan.
Yeah.
No one else gives a fuck about the band but her. John is acting like he was like the Sex Pistols.
Yeah. He's now acting like there were women who were just like salivating and like trying to knock down doors to fucking
what were you saying, Jimmy? I'm sorry.
It's like he's acting like chicks were just knocking down his door, and he was just like, "Oh, man, after our gigs, I like my weekends were just I was just completely booked."
You and I have listened to Hulk Hogan clips on this show before. And you and I have discussed months ago how Hulk Hogan is just a complete liar. He just fabricates things. He went on Joe Rogan. He just made everything up. He went on Flagrant, just made everything up. Well, Stuttering John, my God, can this man just sit in front of somebody and pull novels out of his ass about all these things that he allegedly accomplished and things that he saw and people that he buddied up with. It's nauseating, man. To just lie about everything.
It was awesome.
You had the fucking principal eating out of your hand.
Everything.
That's it, man.
But you would love this. So the first battle of bands. So everyone thought I was singing because in 11th grade we did it.
Okay, Jimmy. So this is we're not gonna spend the entire show on Stuttering John because the show does go an hour and there's so much going on here. This is the coup de grace of bullshit. This is the I feel like what's cheesecake dessert? Like a tiramisu, a cheesecake, perhaps?
I would say a tie between a tiramisu and a cheesecake. That's
okay. Well, this is the tiramisu of lies.
Ooh.
And we were like the best band. Then we were Stranger was our name, named after the ghost in my mom's house. But anyway, that's a whole nother story.
I can't wait to get to this.
That was just an episode of Famous and Afraid where they took a bunch of celebrities and we talked about our ghost experiences when we were kids.
Who hosts that?
I forget, but there was a bunch of me, Steve Guttenberg. There's a bunch of celebrities who did it. But anyway, so I'm there. So then in 12th grade, everyone thought I was going to be the lead singer, but we kept it quiet. And we had this guy, John Carroll, who was the big Ozzy guy, the big Judas Priest guy, like the insane guy. So then I had my keyboard player do
hold on. Did he just say Ozzy and Judas Priest as if Judas Priest is a person?
Yep.
He doesn't know who Rob Halford is?
Nope.
Mr. Musician. But you don't know Rob Halford. You're a fucking you claim to be in a rock band in high school in the 70s and don't know Rob Halford.
Yeah, he was in a rock band in high school, and their instruments were rocks and rubber bands.
Yeah, no, Jimmy. Yeah, the instrument was his hand stroking his cock. That was it.
No, you see, that's
he played.
See, that's an insult to instruments. See, if he's doing shop, then he's quite the tool.
And then we had our pallbearers come out in black gowns,
Okay,
carrying his black.
You have to listen to this whopper uninterrupted.
Okay.
Famous and Afraid, where they took a bunch of celebrities and
and by the way, the show was called Famously Afraid, and I was trying to find a clip of this just to see when he was on television. There's no trace of it at all. But it was a show on ABC, and pretty much they just brought a bunch of celebrities on.
Did you pipe the show in with his name in it, or
I just couldn't find I couldn't find clips of the show, but it was on it was on True TV, and they took
Well, I mean, is when you type, now that you have that show in there, if you type in Stuttering John, even if you can't find clips for it, if he was in an episode, I would imagine he would be referenced in the credits or something.
Right. But yeah, I mean, it's here. I mean, it's on Dabblers Anonymous, the episode of the show, in its entirety. It's like a 15-minute clip. and John talks about growing up in a haunted house. That is completely isolated. But as far as the actual show goes, I couldn't really find much substance on it. It was on like True TV, Frank Stallone, that level of celebrity would just talk about these ghost stories they allegedly experienced. Who the fuck knows?
Yeah.
Experiences when we were kids.
Who hosts that?
I forget, but there was a bunch of celebrities. Me, Steve Guttenberg. There's a bunch of celebrities who did it. But anyway, so I'm there. So then in 12th grade, everyone thought I was going to be the lead singer, but we kept it quiet. And we had this guy John Carroll, who was the big Ozzy guy, the big Judas Priest guy, like the insane guy. So then I had my keyboard player do like a funeral march, and then we had our pallbearers come out in black gowns,
Sick.
carrying his painted black coffin, and they bring it to the stage, and then the coffin is placed on the center of the stage, and then we go into you've got another thing coming, dun, dun, dun,
Nice.
dun, 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 dun. And then as soon as we go, ding, and the coffin opens, John Carroll comes out.
Holy
He's got the
shit.
666 on his shirt.
Yes.
He comes out there, and we go into you've got another thing coming.
More
And-
than life.
Yeah, and then
Okay. So Jimmy,
Yes.
according to Mr. Melendez, him and a couple of his high school friends dressed up as pallbearers, and they found a casket, and they carried their friend onto the stage. And this kid, maybe he was a popular kid. I couldn't tell you. This John Carroll, I've never heard him talk about John Carroll once before. But apparently he pops out of the fucking coffin, and it gets this monster roar from the crowd, and they take it home.
Well, Johnny, you're forgetting that, according to John, there wasn't a kid as popular as he was in high school. Who could surpass his popularity, man?
I guess John Carroll. I guess it was, John Melendez, John Carroll, and then whoever the
John Stewart, John Nicholson.
whoever the drummer was.
You should have went to high school with them back then. You would have been popular, according to this guy.
No,
You're a variation of John.
What it would have been, what high school in the 70s must have been like. But anyway.
at the end of the show, we hung somebody.
Oof.
So we had this kid, Chris Navola. So we had a harness. So we pull him on this.
Wait. Did he just fucking, hold on. Did John just fucking say?
And then the coffin opens. John Carroll comes out.
Holy
He's got the
shit.
666 on his shirt.
Yes.
He comes out there, and we go into "You've Got Another Thing Coming."
More
And-
than life.
Yeah. And then at the end of the show, we hung somebody.
Oof.
So we had this kid, Chris Navola. So we had a harness. So we pull him on this gallows there, and we have the thing. And I didn't know, but they cut the curtain ropes, and to use to help the harness. So there he is. So then we go into Black Sabbath's Paranoid.
Holy shit.
Bam.
Okay.
They look.
This is a public
This is
school.
amazing, dude.
What?
Dude, this is amazing. Look, yet again, I will grant some charitability. Maybe these guys went to a landfill or a dump or something like that, and there was some abandoned casket that they got cleaned up and all that.
That
Fine.
is fine. I am on to
But
this-
the hanging, that is where I'm just like, dude, you were fine with the coffin. Now you're saying, dude, that's like me saying
Can I-
that, yeah, after one of my comedy gigs, I was able to walk up to someone and just stab them. Unprompted.
that would be like, honestly, I think your next gig, you should pop out of a coffin.
Oh, I thought maybe after my next fuck, I figured people would be like, "What's with the rope and the noose?" So I'm like, "Don't worry about that." That's
Oh, by the way, has Larry the Cable Guy came through yet? And has that show happened?
I think it did back in March.
Oh, okay. It was a sold out show, I heard.
Yeah, I have nothing against Larry the Cable Guy. It's just his humor isn't for me.
He's a fellow Nebraskan, though, Jimbo. You should.
Yeah,
You
but
should
I'm
see it
not
that
really
way.
a Nebraskan. I just live in Nebraska.
And you know what, Jimmy? Look. Okay, you know for a fact you ain't leaving you ain't leaving. First of
Yeah,
all,
but I'm not a Nebraskan. I just
you
live.
will, dude. You've already been there. What? 10 years? 12 years? You
Yeah,
will
but I did.
surpass. You will. You've been there 12 years now.
I've been 10.
10. Okay, but you
About
know what?
10.
You are going to surpass the time that you lived in New York, in Nebraska. It is what it is. You and Jojo Siwa and Malcolm X are now one.
I wouldn't go that far.
One
of them was a radical extremist, and the other one is Jojo Siwa.
Radical extremist. But but here's the thing. They were both born in Omaha, by the way. Malcolm X, we all know that he's from Omaha.
Yes.
But no, you are at this point, you are a Nebraskan at this point. You're in on the joke. We do the backdrops.
What I mean by Nebraskan is that I'm by like the definition of like of being like resident and all that. I'm talking about like culturally.
Oh, but culturally, I mean, you're very nice. You'll get you'll have a.
Are you saying that Nebraska is the only state with nice people? Like you're stretching it, man.
No,
like,
I'm serious. I mean, like you have, and I'm not saying this in a bad way at all. I mean, like you got like that cornballness about you these days, and it's good. It's good. You got that modern. You're gonna. All you need now. I'm telling you, we're gonna do this. We're gonna find you a milkmaid, and you're gonna have like a couple of kids on a farm somewhere.
Thanks. Jesus.
Hold on. Yes, dear.
But no,
just temp it. I got stuff.
It's just like
shit.
Look,
anyway,
I can understand exaggerating tales from like high school or stuff like that for comedic effect. That I can understand. Like when I do my skits and my sets, I exaggerate stuff for comedy sometimes, but it still happened. Like those events are tried and true.
Right. Like when
it's like when I it's like when
have you reworked the bit where you're in clay class and the dude pulls your pants down or whatever?
I haven't. Maybe I revisit that one and
oh well, hey Jimmy, by the way,
yes.
John ain't done. There's more to this performance.
Oh, there is? Holy fuck.
Boom. And as soon as the drums come in, the freaking trapdoor opens. Chris Navola comes hanging. It looks like he's playing dead. The freaking teachers were up the stage. Cut him down! Cut him down! They think he's dying. It was the best.
Holy shit. Wait, now, John, I got to ask you something. Are you sure you didn't live in the Hell House?
No. But then the next battle of the bands, you love this, the same gallows, but now we did it differently. I went to the butcher. We got
okay. So this is a story I have never heard. This is not in his book. This has not like been said on a one of his shows before. This is like out of the package fresh, and it's wild.
We got a bunch of pig's blood. Sounds like Carrie, right?
Yeah.
So a bunch of pig's blood. And then I got like a mannequin head. And then so what we did, we had John Carroll, same singer, and we put a black hood, and we had the guys with the black, the ones that do the guillotine. They're all dressed accordingly to costume. And they put John Carroll, it looks like, and they stick his head through the hole. What happens is John Carroll goes through the trapdoor where it's curtained off, so you don't know. This is all coming out of the brain of Stuttering John Melendez.
First of all, the guy is going to figure it out here in a second, because I think this guy knows that this is all bullshit. Alice Cooper and Marilyn Manson and so many guys did this all over the world, like legitimately on stage.
Yeah.
I don't think John did not do any of this.
No.
And there's no fucking way that they would have allowed, if that kid was hanging and this trap door, where was this trap door? Was this trap door on the auditorium stage? Was it always there? Did he fancy it himself?
I think he fancied it himself. There has to be a trap door. Otherwise, the story doesn't sound as cool.
I think he fancied it right out of his ass, quite frankly.
No, I'm just, it's like, you can't just hang from the auditorium. It's got to be from a trap door in the auditorium. Fuck
well,
me.
Yeah.
And for YouTube TOS, we're not telling anyone to hang themselves or whatever. This guy's just an idiot.
Stuttering John. So I figured out how to do this. So he comes down, no one knows. Then they see a head with the same pillowcase on his head that comes through the thing. Then the guillotine, and then we opened with Hot Rockin'. Wait,
okay. This is a band. The way he's describing it, you would think that John Melendez is like this rock and roll legend who's traveled the world. This was just some fucking band from 45 years ago that he allegedly was a part of. And he remembers the lineups, and he remembers the opening song and the playlist and all of this bullshit.
Yeah.
Do we have any tapes? I would say, is there any pictures of this? Is there any tape of this anywhere?
Well, you see, Johnny, he's so popular. Any of the footage and the pictures he had, it would have been signed up and taken because he was so popular.
Good. I want someone to come forward with these tapes. I want to see this shit because there is no way. And then, by the way, Jimmy, he fucking just rambles on and on and on and on and on. But then he says that girls in bikinis came up on stage. So 16-year-old girls in high school came up on stage in bikinis for the Battle of the Bands, John. Like, it never happened. But we're going to skip ahead here a little bit.
And then boom, the guillotine comes down. Pig's blood goes all over the front row. And the freaking head falls into the freaking basket.
Holy shit, like Alice Cooper.
Yes.
Yeah, like Alice Cooper. I'm glad this guy pointed that out. And I see what you mean. This dude, is John really going to act like he pioneered what Alice Cooper and other people like that did?
Dude, and also too is everyone in the front row wearing ponchos like it's a Gallagher show?
No,
he splattered pig blood across everyone in the front row. Or are you out of your mind?
No, Johnny, yet again, you're forgetting he's so popular that they want to have pig's blood hit them that the great Stuttering John Melendez distributed out.
I hope he's closing the show, because if you're sitting around the rest of the night with pig blood on you, you got some worries there.
And yeah, I didn't even know he did that. But then, and again, I mean, like, then we did Godzilla from Blue Oyster Cult.
Holy shit!
I had an 8mm black and white film of Godzilla we had on the stage. Then we did United by Judas Priest. We had the American flags come down.
The American flags come down. This is a whole production. You have like a stage crew. Battle of the Bands. You go to the auditorium. They set up a drum set and they have a few mics and you bring your own guitars and you play 2 songs and you move on. The next person plays 2 fucking songs and they move on. There's none of this pageantry. There's no props.
Let me give you an example. Let me give you an example of a quick little story I had from a talent show. I was like a sophomore in high school. I wrote a short story. I presented it. It was so bad that some people were just like, basically pulled, brother, this guy stinks.
Right.
Now, imagine if I said that while I told this short story, Sally Q's mother's up there giving me a massage. Fucking starfighters are zipping around everywhere. fucking Joe Rogan's up there going like, "Give me 5, bro." Like,
You know what this pretty much is. This is the idea of like, okay, and you're right with a talent show, like a kid that writes a poem or something profound, and they think they're going to get up on stage and they're going to recite it, and everyone is going to be in support. And then in reality, it's just this kind of awkward, disinterested response. And to me, that's what happened in Stuttering John in reality. We've listened. Have you ever listened to Stuttering John's albums? You ever listened to any of his music?
I have unfortunately been graced by the talents of
Stuttering John. There's no proof that this guy is a good singer. There's no proof that he's a good songwriter. And all of this bullshit. Oh, we played all these songs. He did not play an hour. There's no way that he played an hour set with fucking pork blood and a guillotine, and suddenly the American flags are coming down. For like what is the theme of this show? What are you talking about? None of this is happening. There is a red curtain that is drifted to the side, and then there is the backdrop curtain there that's the generic curtain that's built into the theater. And then there's, like I said, a little bit of a setup, and there's a few fucking teachers sitting down below, and that's it. None of this extracurricular horseshit took place. None of it. They may have played one or two songs. But what's so crazy about this is I can't find a performance of John when it was just his band in the Howard Stern days. It wasn't like that album went anywhere. So he has this fantasy of being in high school, but yet he had the albums that were put out while on the Stern show, and he toured nowhere. Or he did, but no one gave a fuck.
No.
Crazy.
And then we did 2 original songs. We had the hottest 12th grade girls in the school come out in bikinis and hold the titles out. We were doing a whole stage.
Something tells me the hottest chicks were not interested in your band or anywhere near Battle of the Bands. Or would they allow that to happen?
I would say that they probably wouldn't allow it to happen because I don't know. There is this thing about boy bands that I don't know that is just alluring. So I don't think that is entirely wrong. It's just that I don't think John's band, or in the very least, if there were popular, attractive girls up on stage, they weren't there for him.
No, but dude, this is high school.
I get it.
There is no way in hell that they're allowing girls to be in skimpy swim attire with anything, with any skin showing up on stage for this bullshit. Again, what the fuck is he talking about? A guillotine and pork blood and chicks in bikinis and American flags. He's putting I take it John went to a lot of concerts as a kid living on Long Island. And he is just piecing together everything that he saw live. He probably saw Motley Crue doing this shit. He probably saw Alice Cooper doing this shit. And now he's just piecing together this fantasy of what he thinks his band could have been.
It's crazy.
Show.
How'd you pull this off?
It's from the fucking mental fucking.
Oh, whatever. Okay. It's
all right. Let's play one more little section
their parents
and
to
then
the kids. I felt that
wrap it up.
disrespectful.
Yeah.
Man.
Like, in fact, when there's this fucking guy, when I'm pulling, I'm banging a left to come, on the road that's leading up to Governor's off of
Division Avenue over there.
Yeah, so coming off the Hempstead Turnpike.
Yeah.
And
I would hate to be behind this fucking guy in traffic. But you get the fucking gist of stuff, Joe. Enough of him tonight. My God. It's like when, if you have nothing else better to do, I think Aaron M. Holt said this best. When you have no material prepared, you just watch Tom Myers.
Yep.
John has not been that entertaining in some time. we only watched 10% of it. Okay, this thing goes for 50 minutes and 55 seconds. And
Yeah.
the lies just get more obscene, and it's crazy. But anyway, Jimmy, on to something a little more lively. To have our closing topic. You saw a couple of movies. What, this past weekend?
I saw Thunderbolts this Friday, and then last Saturday I saw A Working Man.
You see it in the same theater?
Yep, I saw them at the theater here,
Oh,
unfortunately.
okay.
Yeah. So A Working Man, I won't spend too much time on because there's a lot of movies like it. Not that there's anything wrong with it.
Jason
It's
Statham does the same movies pretty routinely.
yeah, but I would argue in this case that what he does is good. It gets straight to the action. And when people were talking about like the plot of this movie isn't crazy, it's just like not every single movie like this has to be like a John Wick.
Right.
Or an Equalizer. If you want to have a simple bare bones plot that gets me straight to the action, I'm all right with that. That's fine.
Right.
No, I would say that it's good. It's what you would expect from a Jason Statham movie. Just one man that was like secret ops or some some special division or some secret agent badass, and that just mows down some scary motherfuckers. I'm all right with that. Like, it was good. It was what I expected, but what I expected was good. Thunderbolts, on the other hand, was not what I was expecting. It was actually better than I expected. Is it like the greatest Marvel film to ever grace the theaters? No, I don't think so.
Is it better than some recent films?
Yes, it's better than Captain America 4, and I think it's going to be better than Fantastic Four.
Yeah, that Fantastic Four is it feels rough to me.
It's not even here yet, and I feel like if it doesn't bomb, it's barely going to make it.
Yeah, and we'll talk about that. We'll talk about that on Wednesday. But I want to get your thoughts on the fact that Julia Garner herself had some comments about Silver Surfer.
Oh no! Oh no! Oh,
I
I
like
feared
Julia
this.
Garner. I like Julia Garner.
I like her too.
But
No.
we'll get into it because it might not be 100% of what you think. But how was the movie overall? Was there any sort of like wish-washy like aspects of the plot? Was it political? Was it just straightforward?
Well, it was political, but it wasn't it was in universe politics, which is fine. I don't mind in universe politics. Yeah, the thing is that if every Marvel film wasn't a comedy fest these days, I would say that the comedy in this movie would be refreshing. But considering every Marvel film nowadays tries to be like a comedy fest, this one being comedic, even though there are some characters in here that could solely be like Red Guardian, I think fits well as a comic relief character. But when you try to have every Marvel character, if not be a comic relief character, but a quip master, it just doesn't work.
Right.
Though the highlight of the film, I don't know who the guy that who was Sentry, the actor, but that guy was really good. Like, that Sentry was a highlight of the film. I don't know the actor, but the guy was able to go from just some scared random dude to kind of in the middle of the road with temperament to basically I'm a godlike being now, and I don't have to listen to you. I'm a god now. Like, I think he handles all of that really well.
Do you think the lack of like, big names in this movie affected it, or did that not matter very much?
I don't think it's the lack of big names. I think there's enough big name actors here. Sebastian Stan, who's been doing Bucky since Captain America: First Avenger.
Right.
The guy who is Red Guardian is Hopper from Stranger Things. Like there's enough like
Of course, yeah. Lawrence Fishburne is in this movie too.
the actress Elaine
Julia
from
Dreyfus.
Seinfeld. Elaine from Seinfeld is in there.
Oh, Julia Dreyfus in this movie. Oh, okay, so
she's like the main antagonist, surprisingly.
Okay. Oh, David Harbour's in this movie. Okay,
Yeah.
so at first glance, I didn't recognize many
Yeah.
people. But yeah,
So
David
they actually
Harbour,
have some
big name.
So they have decent like they have pretty they have some noteworthy
People
things.
in here. Yeah.
The only thing I'll point out though is that the movie with its posters and promotions, there's a character in there called Taskmaster that they promoted for this film. But when they released the cast for Avengers Doomsday and you look at the Thunderbolts cast, you see that Taskmaster isn't there. So the first thing I'm thinking before I see this movie is, oh, Taskmaster is going to die. And I was right. Taskmaster died, which was honestly for the best. The way that the Marvel Cinematic Universe handled Taskmaster was kind of bad, but I wasn't expecting them to kill her off so quickly. Like I was a little surprised. Like this was like, oh crap.
But do you feel like that was something that just kind of had to be done?
I guess, because I don't know what else you could really do with the character, but you know, yeah. And at the end of the movie, because the plot is just basically most of the characters' lives feel directionless and everything, and Elaine's character is about to be impeached from her spot in the Senate and all of that. So she effectively has all of her experimental stuff cleaned up. So she sends all of these secret operatives to this like this isolated facility to effectively kill each other. And they're fighting each other in this furnace-like room. So the plan was that they would all take each other out, and whoever remained, or if they're all dead, the incinerator would have just burned them alive and cleaned up the remains, which happens to Taskmaster. That's why I say Taskmaster's dead. They got a bullet through their head, and they got burned up by an incinerator. I don't know how you're saying they survived that. There's no way. Like, you're dead.
Yeah, they're gone.
No, but basically, just to spoil what they do at the end, this is basically the new Avengers team.
Mm-hmm.
But then they mention in the post-credit scene that Anthony Mackie, or the new Captain America, is suing them for the trademark name of the Avengers, even though he doesn't own the trademark.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah. As if they couldn't make Sam Wilson's Captain America more insufferable. Now you're telling me this guy is a Karen is just going to sue over fucking the rights of that.
You know, it seems like that the MCU actors are the most insufferable.
Not all of them. There are some that I feel bad for.
Pascal.
Like Jeremy Renner was on Joe Rogan.
Yeah, I have not heard it yet, but I did see he was on.
I wonder if he'll talk about the reason why I feel bad for him in particular is because the reason why Hawkeye season 2 didn't happen was they wanted him to come back, but since he got into that accident, they were like, we want you to do 100% of the work for half the pay.
It's like, yeah, fuck that.
So he said, do you think I'm like half of a person or less of a person because I got ran over? And I looked at the guy and it's like, he still looks fine. Maybe you just see what his physical capabilities are. But rather than doing all of that, they're like, and, it's like, yeah, you do half the work, or like you do 100% of the work, half the pay. And he was like, fuck that. So I don't think all of them are insufferable. I think some of them are. But
yeah, well, Mark Ruffalo.
Oh, God. So so at the end of that post-credit scene, we see a spaceship that ends from an interdimensional thing, and the ship slightly rotates, and we see the logo for the Fantastic Four.
Right.
So what I'm speculating is what other people are speculating, that since Galacticus is going to be in the Fantastic Four film, we think that the events of that film is going to lead up to the members of the Fantastic Four escaping that Earth through a spaceship and end up in the current, like the timeline that the Thunderbolts are in.
Right.
I have nothing to confirm that, but why else would you show a spaceship with the Fantastic Four entering into orbit at the end of this film, and the next film that you're having is the Fantastic Four? I mean,
yeah, and look, I think I am going to. I don't get to the theaters much. I think I'll try to get out two Fantastic Four.
You should.
For certain, and we will definitely be able to review that together. But something that I want to ask you is,
yes,
do you feel like this movie was a solid effort and not just an attempt by Marvel to kind of mass produce a bunch of fucking movies a year and just get something out per quarter?
I feel like it feels like a solid effort. Like I said, it's not the greatest film. Like, they're trying to promote this as like the greatest film since Endgame, and that's simply not true. I don't think it's a bad film by any means, but to act like it's that great, no. I think this was a surprise. Like, I think this one needed to work more importantly than the others, like, you know, because it seemed like I had a feeling that they were gonna put, like, because no, like, looking at the story, there wasn't really anything close to an Avengers team, even though now at the credits of this film, your post-credit scene of this film, are you telling me that Sam Wilson is it's either A, Sam Wilson has assembled Avengers team off screen, or B, he's a fucking tool and he's just like, I don't like how you came up with that first. Bro, just form a separate Avengers team. Why don't you form Avengers team Squad A and have the Thunderbolts be Squad B? Have it to where Squad A takes on the biggest threats. They're like the first line of defense, and have the Thunderbolts take care of things on Earth. They're like the backup squad.
Right.
I don't know
like
why
the idea
you
of
can't
that.
do
Yeah.
something like that.
Because
But
I don't think they have comic book fans coming new storylines for these movies. It just seems like they, I don't know what type of writers are in charge of these things, but it's certainly not people that know the source material.
well, for the bulk of Phase 4, it was hiring a lot of activists. You're hiring activists that think that they're writers, and then you watch the shows and the movies, and you're like, oh yeah, I know what you're about.
Brother. Yeah.
For example, She-Hulk was a prime example of, you could tell radical feminists wrote this fucking show. You can tell.
Right.
Like, when I say that the scene in the first episode of Jennifer saying that Bruce doesn't know how to manage his anger, when I tell people that's a masterpiece scene, it's not for the reasons you think. It's because it shows you how brave, stunning, and narcissistic radical feminists are. It's not because Jennifer gave the big own to masculinity. No, because it shows how incredibly fucking narcissistic she is. And the person who wrote this really thought in their mind's eye this was a beautiful scene, until you realize that you're saying that catcalling is somehow comparable to a man that was abused so badly that he had to create a protective ego,
right,
to protect him from the abuse. And the protective ego is so destructive, it'll destroy anything in its path.
And I like, for an example, okay, I do think that the era of those movies is going to come to an end. The era of, we have to take a tried and true concept and we have to weave in some bullshit narrative to promote what we believe in, regardless of if it ebbs and flows with what the fuck we're supposed to be doing. I feel like people have had enough of that now. And that
Yeah.
just isn't what they're going. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, the culture is definitely shifting and is reacting harshly to the stuff. Like I've said this before on stream. Snow White, the live action Snow White being worse than Dragon Ball Evolution is the biggest indicator of cultural rot I have ever seen.
Right.
And I don't think it'll stop. Like the thing is, I don't know how many flops in a row Disney has to have because they care about the money. I don't know how many flops they have to have in a row consecutively. How many Snow Whites in a row do you need to have until you realize that you fucked up? Like,
right, this is not working. This is not a good idea. You're gonna have to figure out what the hell you're doing because it's just not working. And to me, I want to know who these movies are for. And I think you and I have this conversation all the time. But seriously, who who are the target audience when we're talking about marketing and promotions and just getting the green light for these movies? Who is the target audience?
oh boy, let me tell you who the target audience is
For Captain Marvel. Even though I like that movie, I liked that movie.
It's not even the worst. It's not even the worst Marvel movie anymore. Like, sure, it was shit, but it's not even the worst anymore.
But you know what? I enjoyed it as a casual moviegoer. As a casual moviegoer, I thoroughly enjoyed Captain Marvel.
I understand, and I'm trying to throw you a bone here and say that for as bad as I thought that film was, it's not even as bad. It's not even as bad as what comes out now because at least that movie sort of fit into the timeline that it was in. At least it didn't completely fuck the Infinity Saga. Like, sure, it was a sign to a degree of things to come, but at least it fit the story it was in, even if it was a nonsensical addition. You remember the Eternals? No, well, that's the problem. See, that's what I'm talking about.
I remember there were a bunch of actors in it that no one really cared about. I remember that.
One of the actors said that this movie was going to save people's lives. A movie so good that
it was so diverse that it was going to save people's lives.
It had the first sex scene in a Marvel movie. That's how I knew we were in dire straits when they're like, this movie has the first sex scene, and if you got a problem with that, you're a virgin incel. It's just like, okay.
Yeah, it was the first sex scene in a Marvel movie, which again is not needed at all. It was a diverse cast, which it was. It was a very diverse cast, whether or not you feel like that was a put upon aspect of things or not.
Oh no, they made sure to let you. Oh, they made sure to let you know that this was the most diverse cast in a Marvel film. Oh, they let you know that they wanted you to know that was more important than what story it was going to tell and how it was going to fit into the cinematic universe overall. A movie so good that it got referenced for the first time in like 8 years, like 7 years. No, like fuck, I forgot when that came out. Fuck.
Oh, it's been some time. I think I was living in Montana when that came out.
Yeah.
Although maybe not. It wasn't. It might not have been that long ago.
It hasn't been referenced until the most recent Captain America film, to where we finally decided to reference the giant hand poking out of the fucking ocean.
Which, by the way, was the lamest fucking thing to begin with.
Oh no, but you see, they needed that in there so we could introduce adamantium. Because we have to reference the X-Men are coming, even though we saw fucking Wolverine and Deadpool and Wolverine.
Well, what if the giant hand popped out of the water and it was, oh, we're off to Ireland, we're running away from Trump, and it was just Rosie O'Donnell, and she.
No, see, at that point, it would have to be some like pig swamp creature.
What if Rosie O'Donnell just spreads her legs and all that pig meat just eats all of the Avengers?
No, you see, if she opens her legs, it's going to open a portal to the Nether. It's like a black hole of
Oh,
swamp
shit.
goo, and it sucks you in.
But eventually, like, how long until Lady Gaga is in a Marvel movie? You know what I
I
mean?
mean,
Like,
she was already in a DC film. I don't think it's too far off.
right?
She was
Yeah.
in Joker too. So
Yeah.
I don't think we're too. I don't. Fuck. Why don't we put Taylor Swift in at this point? That's what we need. We need a gal who's in her 40s writing breakup songs back when she was in high school. That's what the MCU needs.
Oh yeah, definitely. But absolutely.
You know, I cringe at the fact that she was like I had a crush on her as a teenager. I cringe at that so hard now.
Yeah, she's definitely not your kind of gal these days, Jim.
Well, her high school sweetheart songs came out when I was in high school, so
Right? Yeah, I mean, yeah, you got a point there. Yeah.
I'm not saying I'm proud of it. I look at it now and I listen to all of her diatribes, and it's just like, dude, I had a crush on you. You're fucking psycho. You're out of your mind. You're psychopathic.
Right. And just to think that she was your first love or whatever.
Well, I wouldn't say my first love, but she was on the list.
Yeah, Jesse from Jesse was a bit higher on that list.
Jesse.
Hold on.
Oh no, I know who you're talking about now. Fuck you.
No. She had big titties.
No. Yeah, that's a real selling point.
Of course it was. What else was was happening there? What about I don't know. I feel like when you watch Ghost or were you a Sigourney Weaver fan or an Alien?
I was an Alien fan.
But yeah, I know I'm saying, but you get what I'm talking about though.
I get,
because I feel like Sigourney Weaver's 70 and she's probably still hot.
I was a Sarah Connor fan.
Yeah, I was a Sarah Palin kind of guy too.
I mean, you should pull up Elaine from the Thunderbolts, and I'm gonna tell you, she kind of has the Tulsi Gabbard look to her.
Yeah,
I'm not kidding.
She got the big Lauren Boebert titties.
No, I mean the hairstyle was what
she just looks like Tulsi Gabbard. She just looks like Tulsi. That's funny.
Kinda. I mean, and I don't think that's terrible.
No,
fuck no. Oh God. I've cycled out women like Taylor Swift for women like Rita Panini and I think some people could say that my taste in women has upgraded. I'll be all right.
He went from Taylor Swift to Brett Cooper. It's fine. But anyway,
that's an upgrade too. That's not an insult.
I never said it was. Brett's a very classy gal. But anyway, Jim, I think we will call it a night. And on Wednesday, we will get into some more a Marvel talk, some more goofy shit that the actors are saying about the films, and maybe a little bit more of this Stutt Joe interview because he says some whoppers.
Also, I think we should touch upon I don't know how long it's been since you watched iDubbbz, but I think there's some catching up that needs to be in order.
Okay, 100%. Yeah, we'll go ahead and we'll cover all those things. Okay. But for now, Jim, so long.
So long.